everybody, this is the week trend. Remaking movies is nothing new in Hollywood. They have been doing it since, the dawn of time. It's old as the hills. And they are not above remaking, movies from other countries. And, French movies, German movies, Italian movies, they've all, had their American treatments, and most of them have been not very good. But there is one country, as far as I know, they have never done a remake from, and that is India. Bollywood movies can, at times, be a little bit silly and a bit outlandish and, a bit unusual in its structure and its execution and, the stories. But I would think, if you would have made a remake of Om Shanti Om, the movie we're going to take a look at today, what was going to happen, if they had a meeting and somebody would say, how about if we made a remake of this very successful Indian movie? Let's say it would be 2011, and the executive would say, well, who would play the main lead characters? Well, I think we could do with Leonardo DiCaprio, the biggest star in Hollywood, and we can have this young up-and-comer Jennifer Lawrence. Great, that will be great, he would say. And then he would say, tell me the story, tell me what this movie is about, show me the synopsis. Give me the broad strokes of what this movie is about, and then he would tell you the thing. What would happen later when he was finished and he would have come to the half point of the movie? The big shot Hollywood executive would say to him basically, well, we need to drug test you now. You're a fucking moron. Are you insane? Are you fucking crazy? That is basically what I think was going to happen if they would try to remake the Om Shanti Om. They would make a totally different movie. Good or bad, it wouldn't be this story. I'm not going to spoil this to you because this movie is too good and it is too fun to see it for the first time, not knowing what's going to happen. Let's instead take a look at Om Shanti Om. So Shah Rukh Khan plays Om. He works in the movie industry in the 1970s. He is what they refer to as a junior artist. As I've understood it, it's kind of a background guy, kind of a stand-in, being very low at the totem pole in the movie industry. He enjoys what he does, but he wants to be a big star. He wants to be rich and famous and making these enormous, fantastic movies. Now, he has his friends and he has his family, but he still feels that he's kind of a failure. He wants to be this big star because he feels that is the only way that he can, get the woman of his dreams, the biggest star in Hollywood, played by Deepika Padukone. This was, by the way, her debut film, and she was so green in front of the screen that she was basically dubbed for the most part of it. And now look at her, she's the most famous and biggest name in Bollywood aside from Shah Rukh Khan maybe. The thing is that after a freak accident, they do sort of become an item. They do start falling in love with each other. And then something happens. I'm not going to spoil what this is. Spoiling spoilers in Bollywood movies is never a good thing because the joy of it is seeing it and seeing the shock when you're discovering, oh my god, because the movie takes such a sharp turn. It would be considered almost a U-turn in the grand scheme of things. And to put it lightly, they have some pretty big obstacles if they're going to end up together with each other. This movie is a very glitzy, very big, very boisterous Bollywood movie. It has some of the greatest song numbers in the business. The 9-minute monstrosity where, legends from Bollywood's future and past and present shows up. Some of them are legends that hasn't been shown, on this big screen in decades apparently. The Death at the Disco and the last song is really, really good. Because this movie is directed by Farah Khan, you can really expect them to put on some really big and spectacular sequences. With that said, this movie has a couple of smaller minor little problems that you have to get through. The usual first half of the movie goes kind of slow before the story really kicks in, is always a thing that you have to overcome when you're watching an Indian movie. This movie also is a little bit all over the place when it comes to its genre, because it is kind of a thriller and it is kind of a romantic drama, and it's also a comedy. Sometimes the comedy gets a little too silly for its own good, and the wacky hijinks that goes on in this movie is a little bit too much maybe. But if you can accept that, you can have a really great time with this movie. They also do a couple of really cool and really special nods to other films, including Singing in the Rain, and for some bizarre reason, the Swedish movie Cops. Yeah, they have a sequence where they're parodying, almost shot for shot, Torkel Pettersson's dreams when he takes down the bad guys. When that happened, I almost went absolutely bananas. What the fuck is that? This movie is really, really entertaining. This movie has fantastic song and dance numbers. It has fantastic characters, a very unique story. And Shah Rukh Khan, of course, as he always has great chemistry with Deepika Padukone. He has great chemistry with everybody. Now, of course, this movie is slightly too long, as usually is the case with Indian movies, but I can live with that, to see this almost like a fable. It's like a fairy tale, when all is said and done. It is unlike anything I've ever seen. And if you are new to the Indian movie genre, if you haven't seen that many or any at all, I would say this is a great movie to start with. Even though when you come to the middle of the movie, you will go, oh my god! What? They did what? This is one of my favorite Indian movies, and it gets a solid 85 points. There are moments in this movie that there is a little bit too much foreshadowing of what is going to happen later. This is a movie that benefits from multiple watches, because you see stuff weaved in that you didn't see the first time. So I would advise you to see this movie 2 or 3 times before you make up your mind about it. But as I said, it has some of the greatest song and dance numbers, and the movie is just so big and majestic, and it has a story that you get really immersed in. All the hot girls, put your hands up and sing Om Shanti Om. You have been singing a little bit too much lately. Stop that. Sorry. I'll see you next time from so-and-so reviewing, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much. Damn it, it's cold today. This was not a very good idea.